Stupidity is not a competition. Unless you're a politician. The Daily Mojo.
The reason I bring this up, because I know Phil will likely have an answer as to why we need the federal government to alert us to any... What is it that the federal government would need to alert us to?
You know, that's a great question. And it's funny. I don't remember this happening while Trump was in office, but I remember it was a big deal when they did it while Barack Obama was in there. I could be wrong, but I always think this is weird. And my question is, who are the cell phone providers that don't subscribe to this so I can see about getting one of those?
Yeah, no kidding. And like if you have a burner phone, does it go to burner phones too?
That's it. You know what? I think it would. I think it would. And that would probably surprise some people and say, look, I'm going to get this phone so the government can't track me. And then what does the government do? They track you. Look, you know the deal. This is not here because they want to make sure that the next time that, some terrorist attack they could have prevented happens. Wait, did I say that? I did. Huh. But it's because they want to make sure that they have the ability to know what you're doing, who you are, where you are, and so on.
Yeah, I just can't for the life of me figure out what it is that the federal government would want to be alerting me to. There's not a thing I can think of that I would need to have them alert me to something.
An asteroid coming in, Brad.
Okay. Let's say there's an asteroid. Okay. There's put your head between your knees.
What are you going to do to stop it? Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to turn them on, apparently government alerts are turned on by default. If you want to turn them off, go to the notifications tab in settings, scroll down to emergency alerts at the bottom, and then you can turn off emergency alerts or mute the sound when in silent mode. So there you go.
Right.
You can.
I got my BlackBerry right here. I hope it does. Maybe it doesn't still work on this. Yeah. Here it is, by the way. I said I'd show it to you. This is it.
I like that. That is how old is that?
2018. So it's a Key 2 LE. It was one of the ones made by TCL that under license by BlackBerry. And crazy enough, if you go online and try to buy one, they charge a lot of money. So I wanted to replace this one with a newer one, and it just said, hey, $500 or else. So yeah, they're pretty popular.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute, $500? You think that's a lot of money? Try one of these bad boys. You have to get a mortgage for it. Yeah, it's stupid. I miss the days when they gave you the phone for free.
Now let me ask you a question. So you have an iPhone. What is the first thing you do when you get an iPhone?
Put it in a case.
Put it in a case, right? And that case makes it look like all the other phones, so it doesn't look any different. All the beautiful engineering gets wiped out by some ugly case, and they all look the same. With you. So it's not even a cool pop culture thing. Yeah.
I know, and there's so much. I mean, they feel good in your hand when they're not in a case. They feel good, and then you drop it and you cry. But that's why on every TV show you ever see, they don't have a case on them because they look so good. But it's the crazy girlfriend that keeps cheating on you, but you want her back because she does that thing. And that's my iPhone. So speaking of crazy girlfriends, there's Taylor Swift. So she's dating Kansas City Chiefs dude, right?
Yeah, Travis Kelce. I think he's tight end. Yeah.
Sure he is.
So...
Sorry. I thought he was a quarterback.
No. That's Mahomes.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
As an aside, I started to feel old when I realized that Patrick Mahomes, he's the son of Pat Mahomes. He used to pitch for the Mets. When I was in college, Pat Mahomes was pitching for the Mets, and I was cheering him on. And now I'm watching his son win Super Bowls, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yep.
But so I wanted to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, not because I've fallen down the rabbit hole of People magazine, but because this is an example of what we as conservatives are missing out on. We do not get to set the debate on a lot of what happens in the world because we're not part of the pop culture, the pop culture milieu. And so therefore, when you have an experience like I did over the weekend, I went up to Hoboken to this train show in Hoboken, New Jersey, and Hoboken has been totally gentrified. So it's full of 20-somethings, lots of beautiful women, by the way, so definitely a place to visit, but full of 20-somethings that if you don't know what's going on in pop culture, how are they going to listen to us when we want to talk to them about politics or theory or any of the things that we talk about on this show? And every time the left has had a major policy success, it's been because their leadership, whether we're talking about John F. Kennedy, whether we're talking about the Roe v. Wade, getting that approved in the first place, whether we're talking about Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, these were all people or episodes from pop culture where we, as the other side, had nothing engaged. We had no irons in the fire, and therefore we were totally ignored.
That's a good point, that you do have to stay on top of this stuff just to understand, again, to speak their language, so to speak.
Right.
And I'm always, I've had one foot into the pop culture scene because some of it is fascinating to me. And I just noticed, actually, though, this picture I found of Taylor Swift, she's not getting better looking. Sadly, I don't know if she's peaked or not, but there she is right there. And I'm not sure. I mean, she's still an attractive woman, but I think she may have peaked.
Yeah, I'm actually curious who the women are next to her. But
right.
Sorry, won't be too much of a chauvinist pig here.
No, that's Mahomes in the middle, and on the right is Blake Lively.
Okay. See, Lively? There you go. Yeah. I need to be more up on it. That's right.
Because to the far right, you can see his arm. That's Ryan over there.
Oh, right. He's right. Oh, you're right. Sorry. There. I can move that over there a little bit. Yeah. There's Ryan Reynolds over there.
What's his name? Jax. Come on.
Will Smith?
No.
Is that Will Smith back there?
No, his friend, Wolverine. What's his
Kanye?
name? No.
Wolverine. Jack Hillman.
Yeah. Thank you. Him.
Jack Hillman. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And
what the hell?
And they used to have
Hugh Jackman,
Patrick Mahomes' brother, up there too for a while, but then he got in trouble for doing something.
Yeah.
Huh. So you're suggesting that people just stay, because I do agree that sometimes this stuff is a distraction, especially when we are dealing in Washington with a bunch of asshats that are telling us that they're going to, find a solution to the budget crisis, and which is absolutely ridiculous considering how far in the hole we are, and anything short of we're not spending another dime on anything. And as a matter of fact, here's what we're cutting so that we can pay off some of this stuff. Right. And by the way, the spigot to Ukraine is turned off, but that's not what they're doing. So it's a clown show up there. And sometimes I think that this becomes a distraction, but it is part of the world. So you think I should pay more attention to Taylor Swift?
Well, so I want to be clear here. You're 100% correct. It is without a doubt a distraction. And in fact, if you think about it, if you're one of the people who believes the government shutdown is a bad idea, I do not. I think government shutdowns are actually great. And for a reason we can get into in a minute, but it certainly is a distraction, and they really do strategically utilize pop culture in order to distract people. But what I am suggesting is that every conservative at least know what's going on in the news. So that way, when they look over at us, they don't see a bunch of quote unquote old fuddy-duddies that they don't care about. But we can say something like, oh, well, I see Jay-Z is sampling something from the House of Pain. Wait a minute. What's the House of Pain? You mean this isn't original? Yeah, you're right. It's not original. And you know what else isn't original? The idea that if we start giving people money, that it's going to get better. Well, you're not going to make the transition exactly that smoothly. But what will happen is the more and more that we become people who, the 20-somethings, the 30-somethings say, yeah, that's my friend. I get along with them. Then they're going to listen to us when we say spending has to be cut and no taxes should not be increased.
Well, and I have to say, in my own defense, I feel like I am pretty hip and I'm happening, and I know people or know of people like Tom McDonald, who I may or may not have had a DM. Ron, what do you call it? A DM exchange? Who slid into whose DMs?
Yeah.
I think he slid
into some DMs. All right.
He slid into my DMs. So I feel like I'm kind of hip and cool in that way. But yeah, we don't want to come across as the stuffy old people party, because then you're right. They won't listen, and they don't listen to begin with.
I'll give you a good example. So think back to Bill Clinton, right? What did Bill Clinton do? He went on the Arsenio Hall show. He played the saxophone. He's this cool guy. But here's what was notable. Now, I don't want to get too graphic and so forth, but we all know what he and Monica did. Well, because he was this popular person, because he had made himself into a pop culture icon, and oh, by the way, I didn't inhale briefs, not boxers, or whatever it was. So then we went from all of the acts and so forth, rather than that being something that was taboo, that only got discussed in Playboy. Well, suddenly now that's part of the culture too. And it's okay. You know, it's something that nobody has a problem talking about now. And like I said, I don't want to get too graphic about that, but I want you to think about if we turn that on its head, well, suddenly now we have people on our side who, again, are hip. They're playing the saxophone. They're doing that kind of thing. And rather than making that, what's popular, we're making the nuclear family popular. We're making the idea of government not spending a whole heck of a lot of money popular. We're making the idea of us being free popular. That very well can happen.
Ron can play Ron plays the saxophone. Don't you, Ron?
I don't play the saxophone.
Oh, it's the flute. I forgot about that.
I don't even
Ron
play the flute, dude.
He plays the flute. It's kind of a modified flute that he plays. He
Whatever.
Does it in an awesome way, though. All right, so I'm going to get back to the government shutdown being okay, because I'm with you.
Yeah.
The problem is that when we talked about the government shutdown, the first thing that they up in Congress tried to do was, well, our military won't get paid. So they do they use all of these little nasty tricks, like, well, the military won't get paid, but Congress will. They could fix that in a heartbeat. They fixed it so that they got paid. They could fix it so that the military got paid regardless of a government shutdown. Could they not?
So, yeah, they absolutely could. Now, here's what to do. First of all, whenever they come up with absurd statements like that, don't ever respond to it. Don't backpedal. Don't say, oh, no, because the minute that you do that, then people will start to believe that somehow you're lying and that there might be a kernel of truth to what the other side is doing. Always push forward with your argument. Oh, well, the military's not going to get paid. Listen, the reason why I support a shutdown is simple. It's because there's some people who think money should be spent one way, other people who think it should be spent the other. The left does not want to spend money on things I agree with, and I don't want to spend money on the things they agree with. Therefore, we're going to have a compromise. And if the compromise takes a while, the compromise takes a while. We have the opportunity to determine how money gets spent in this country through our elected representatives, and we're going to take that opportunity every time, no matter how long it takes. End of story. And if anybody has any questions about that, just find out how they like it when we say, oh, I don't know, we're not going to spend any more money on green energy. Yep, that's right. Oh, you don't want that to happen? Okay, we'll have our debate then. That's it.
It's. I would feel better if they would. Well, and then the problem is, I don't know that they're ever going to get serious about having a balanced budget anyway, because I'm not even sure it can happen at this point. $33 trillion in debt. And was there a backdoor deal? Did you hear anything about a backroom deal? Sorry, not a backdoor deal, but a backroom deal with McCarthy and Biden on Ukraine?
I heard about that. I haven't seen any evidence to it, but what I will do is I'll find out from our chief lobbyist if that's real or not, and then I'll email you or put it in a morning update, because I think that would be a very important thing if it's real.
Because it wouldn't surprise me at all. And Ron, go ahead and take this shot, because this is Taylor Swift. Okay, from the front here with it. All right, she's still pretty good looking. Maybe it was just the fact that it was. I don't know. That other angle just it was not her best
Something
angle.
Crazy going on there.
Yeah, there really is. Is that so? That's Mahomes' wife there.
Yeah, between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift, right? Okay. And then Ryan, are you sure that's not Will Smith back there?
I'm sure that's not Will Smith. Yeah.
All right. Who's he? Who's the other dude?
I have no idea.
I thought you knew these people.
I don't know those people. I just happen to know that those few people were there.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right. Back to what? I'm sorry. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. The budget and important stuff in Washington. I know. People need to get involved, obviously, and they can do that through FreedomWorks, right?
Go to Yeah, go to freedomworks.org, sign up to be a member. Our Freedom Teams have been doing a national tour. I think Ohio, we'll be headed out to Ohio pretty soon to have some events out there, and just did something there recently. So we're going around the country. We're meeting a lot of this audience in person, which is really, really exciting to do. I'm going to try to get to some of those as well. So sign up, join us, and that way we will be setting the debate rather than the other side.
The First Amendment lives here. Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.